What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and today we have some big ass information from the TCG. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG's Forbidden Limited list. So I am now taking my look at it. If you have already not seen it on Twitter, but everyone has their own opinions about this, and I definitely wanted to give my opinion on the TCG Forbidden Limited list now that it is officially out. So a lot of people were actually hoping that this came out as soon as possible because there was a big ass maintenance for Master Duel that recently came out. And everybody's having fun with Master Duel. I'm having fun with Master Duel. I'm still having fun with Master Duel. So unfortunately, if you're watching me stream on twitch.tv/HarpiePlayerJoe, say what? I will still continue to play some Master Duel. I just haven't got to the point of rank duels because I've been so fascinated with the solo mode, and I heard word on the street that the solo mode's gonna get a little better, which is good because I want to see more types that are being focused on in solo mode, or even that. The solo mode I want that I loved from previous games was when you got to duel your opponents in duels were the monsters or famous iconic characters from the Yu-Gi-Oh series. So I definitely want to see that come into the game. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about, and I'm gonna try to take a good 15 minutes. So if there's particular cards that I don't go over in the video, that is simply just because I don't know what those particular. God damn it, my mouse died. So I don't know what those particular cards are. So forgive me not if that is like the main reason why I don't talk about that particular card, but hey, I will talk about as much of the other cards as I possibly can. So, compromise. Alright, with that said, well, we go ahead and we take a look at the Forbidden Limited list. So, starting off, well, thank God my stuff is back. So, for the Forbidden section, we have the Arch Nemesis Protos? Okay. We have Eva. We have some more, the Bird of Sovereignty, and Imperial Order. For the limited section, we have Destrudo, the Lost Dragon's Person, Fairy Tale Snow, Astrograph Sorcerer, Lunalight Tiger, Lureless Racktail Starling, Monster Gate, and Pot of Desires. Then we have for the semi-limited, we have A Hero Liz, Fusion Destiny, Nibiru Servant, Salamander Circle, and Scapegoat. And then for the unlimited section, we have Danger, Nessie, Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, Performer Pal, Skull Crobat Joker, Emergency Teleport, Raigeki, and Skill Drain. So, with a lot of these drastic changes being made, I guess the most obvious drastic choice I should talk about is Imperial Order. So Order is forbidden in the TCG because there was a lot of issues going on with, from what my understanding is, a lot of you guys were not happy with how people were playing Imperial Order in remote duels. There is nothing I can justify about that when it comes to a lot of the online competitive scene, but I can understand Imperial Order is a nasty card to go against because Order, from my understanding with Order, is Order originally had to be nerfed because Order was a card you can turn on and off. That's why it was banned for such a long period of time. When they decided to bring back Imperial Order, that was due to the fact that Order itself had its nerf, which was supposed to nerf Order. So for the last couple of formats, Order has been a very devastating thing because a lot of decks are going back to heavy spell, and Order in a very decently played side deck or even a decently played main deck can rely on other cards outside of their spells. Which thank you to Modern Yu-Gi-Oh for that. Not really, but things can happen. So because of such, Order has to now be banned because it's just too many ways to take advantage of Order. Like, it doesn't matter if you pay 700 life points during each player's turn, the consequences that your opponent can play around not having spells or access to their spells to make sure you have no access to yours. Eva! Eva! Eva, that little tiny green suited alien. Eva is being hit because of Drytron. So if you thought Benton was part of the problem, she was, because Eva was the other part. Eva, for the most part, was just a free effect to search for stuff that could help Drytron counter other things, primarily getting heralds, which you'd say, okay, well, let's ban herald. Here's the thing. Eva also had other abilities that made it even more viable in Drytron, like searching for fairies, even though its main purpose was not to search for fairies to help a ritual deck that wasn't fairy. It was more so just to help counter fairy get more support for herald, which Harold itself is some sort of visual monster. But I think at that point you guys understand it was just way too much freebies. And I don't know too much about the arch nemesis Protoss, so I have no real need to speak on that. You can find a lot of other YouTubers that are probably going to explain that better than I can. But the one I can explain, the one that hurts me the most, is of course some more Border Sovereignty. So a lot of people are going to ask, what are you Harpie players going to do now that some more is banned? I mean, we keep more ties to the Brethren and push for the best. Shirag the Ominous Omen is still a monster, ironically. And there are still a lot of other plays you can do with variations of rank 3 and 4 monsters. So even though some work is banned, you still have some other uses of things that you can do. And hopefully in the future, maybe they'll get us some more Link monster that isn't as powerful as some more of the bird. I mean, some more of the Bird of Sovereignty, but maybe something that can just float around and do some shenanigans. The real reason why this card is being hit is because of Lureless Tri Brigade, which in itself is still one of the biggest tier decks. I think now at this point, there is no legitimate way of taking advantage of what some work helped bring out, which was two options. You either got a massive negate in the forms of Miss Valley Apex Avian, or you got the Barrier Statue of Stormwind, which was a massive floodgate. So I guess it's triple Swallow's Nest in the main deck if you want to actually go um into Barrier Statue of Stormwind. I think eventually people are going to find ways to get, not. Because damn, it's so fucked. There's no some more. I'm not happy about this. I really have to figure out how I'm going to work this in. But yeah, alright, we move on from the forbidden section. Let's talk about the limited section. Um, sorry, I keep forgetting that happens. So due to the fact that Halki Firex is completely not being played right now, they decided to bring at least one tuner back, and that was Destructo, the Lost Dragon's First On. This is probably the better of the two options. I mean, better of the multiple options, because most of the options that are still forbidden. Gofu makes tokens. There's a whole bunch of plant support you can play around with thanks to Global, and if you're not playing plants, there's still a lot of things Global can help mill, so no. Dandy's not coming back in conjunction to its portion of why Global's banned, and I think at this point, the Shudo's only back because I think there's future Dragon support that's coming out, and this thing is going to help support that. Also, Kalku Fibrex, where have you been, friend? Rarely played, rarely used, and maybe you'll get some use now thanks to this. Fairy Tale Snow. Well, the biggest opposition that Snow supported was Thunder Dragon. With Snow's re-release off the Forbidden Limited list, do we think she will see more play? Damn, Skibby she's going to see a lot of play. She's a floater that's a Book of Moon. You don't think people are going to play her in conjunction to Book of Moons? Not to mention the fact that she is relatively a really good monster with such a really good effect attached to her. Free special summon for banishing cards, which most decks take advantage of. She's going to be able to summon herself in Book of Moon, something that can be a potential threat. Let's be glad she's at 1 and Grass Looks Greener is still forbidden. With that said, that's partially why I think Monster Gate got hit, because that's just going to give more fuel to the fire. I'm sorry if they didn't hit Reasoning, but I think Reasoning has its own stipulations that makes it worse than Monster Gate, but not as broken as Snow can take advantage of, because I think if you call 4 and you hit her, you're not going to get her, but she can still summon herself. I think with Monster Gate, it just fills up more of the aspects of, oh, you're going to get a monster, but all these spells and traps can still count towards Snow. So I think it's just more so if one's going to hit more than the other is, and that's what's going to fuel up the fire. With Astrograph Sorcerer and Luna White Tiger, these are only respective changes for their particular archetypes, because their particular archetypes were splashed in stuff that took advantage of Pendulum. Because Master Rule 4 is still here, Master Rule 5 is just Master Rule 4 revised. Pendulum and Link are still limited to their Link markers in the extra monster zone. So that kind of makes what these two are going to potentially do for their decks a little slower, but still gives their decks the options to play them. With the fact that Astrograph is back, that's only probably to help promote more Pendulum play, even though there could be a potential that the Valiant archetype may hit a flop. And judging by the last video that I talked about it, that is a high possibility. Lureless Rocktail Starling. She's a searcher for a lot of optimal cards for both Lureless, Tri-Brigade, and even DD Crow, because she can go get Crow, which can be pretty nasty with such a powerful monster. Also, there's that whole ability of stacking cards on top of each other, thanks to a couple of their particular cards that the Lureless have. That is Lureless Bird Sanctuary, and you can get multiple Ragtail Starlings onto the field and do some shenanigans. So, yeah. Pot of Desires is probably the only thing I don't have an answer for, and I don't think I want to find a legitimate answer. So unless Konami comes out and say why they hit Desires, which that's never going to happen because they don't specify about the Forbidden Limited list unless it's like dual links. Other than that, we're not going to get a real reason why Desires got hit. And I know Snow has nothing to do with that because she doesn't get back face down cards. So, alright, we move on to the semi-limited. We're basically looking at just an armada of the first 4 cards are all, well, 3 out of the 5 cards here are searchers. That's Hero Lives, Nadir Serpent, and Salamangreat Circle. While Circle offers a Forbidden Lance to Salamangreat, Nadir Serpent is just basically a free meal to the graveyard for a free search of a Fallen Albrez or a Dogmatica card. With the new support coming for Fallen Albrez, I think this actually might be a smart move. Sadly, we might see Nadir Serpent go to 1, so I guess I should get my set when I get the chance, because I don't own any Nadir Serpent. I own basically all the Dogmatica cards that I need, to play Dogmatica Shaddoll Invoked, or play Dogmatica Invoked, but I don't have any Nadir Serpent, so I can't search for my Ecclesia if I'm playing her off, outside of, Master Duel and EDL, which I haven't touched EDL in so long. But, yeah, when the Nadir Servant getting hit to 2, I think it's just a slowdown, but we'll see more stuff go into effect later. Fusion Destiny, and I think this is also attached to a Hero Lives. For the fact that Fusion Destiny is only getting hit to semi status, might be because they're still trying to promote Burst of Destiny, and in fact, Burst of Destiny still has Destiny Hero Phoenix Destroyer. And Phoenix Destroyer, Phoenix Enforcer. Sorry, I get the names. DPF, DTE. Sorry, DPF, DPE. It's still a thing. They still want to promote that. There's going to be some more fusion shenanigans going on. So I don't know. They didn't hit Verde Anaconda, which I know some of you guys were complaining about. I'm just like, let Verde stay. Hit the really broken support cards. And also for the fact that how splashable this is, because really all you need is a Destiny Hero Dasher and a Destiny Hero Celestial, and you guys were already making combos and stuff with that. Even if you like the shenanigans that comes between both of the cards itself, in addition to the fact that you're going to be able to fusion Destiny. So, yeah, this is my hot take. Moving on from there, I think the only thing to talk about is Scapegoat, and that's simply just because of Scapegoat. And Scapegoat, that too, isn't a bad thing. Scapegoat is probably one of the most moved cards in the TCG, besides, I want to say Mystical Space Typhoon, maybe? That it's one of the cards from the original list that were limited, stay limited for a good period of time. I think up until Exceeds, it kept staying limited. Pendulum, and then when links came around, I think that's when it got hit back to 1 because you can link some into a good portion of things with scapegoat tokens. Scapegoat are cute. That's the thing. See, Konami knew cute cards create chaos, and that's why Scapegoat had to get hit because Scapegoat was part of the problem. It wasn't the solution. But no, I know someone who's gonna be very happy to see Double Goat, and I have a couple of Scapegoats running on this account, so let's find some home for them. Alright, the last thing is the unlimited section. So 95% of this is just because there's new support coming. Uh, Red MD got a nerf in its own effect, so it's completely just trash. Skullcrobat Joker is not a bad monster, but it is very slow for the current game. Not to mention, it's probably just because of the fact that Astrograph is back at 1, so you're probably just going to play tag teams with it. E-Telly is to promote Punk because the next 3-in-1 set, 3 archetypes in one set is coming, and the punks are all psychics. So there's a lot of psychic punk monsters, so we're gonna take advantage of that. Also, let's counter the fact that E-Telly still has Cosmo. It still has the psychic monsters that it's really famous for using, like Esper Girl, Serene Psychic Wish, has Psychic Cleric, which I do believe can be used in the new punk decks for some versatility. Not to mention Krebun, Psychic Commander, Psychic Jumper, all of them are really good utility cards for Psychic decks, or just decks in general. The Danger Nessie, I guess because none of the Danger cards are coming off the list, so you might as well just let the one that has the least issues come off the list. Because Jackalope and them definitely still need to stay where they are. And then Raigeki going to 3. I guess because Monster Protection is already built into most monsters at this point. So Raigeki is only really going back to 3 because no one sees it as a legitimate threat. It's funny because you can also say that for Dark Hole. Like, I'm sorry, it's just true. And then Skill Drain, which people are not happy about Skill Drain. It's like, yeah, we got rid of Imperial Order, but here comes 2 more Skill Drain. And I'm just like, I didn't ask for it, but you guys did. And here's the thing, we have counters to Skill Drain. Like, people don't remember, you can run big-ass monsters that can beat over each other. You can run Duster. You can run Twin Twister. You can run MST. You can run Heavy Death Storm. There's a lot of counters to continuous trap cards. And no one's going to be running Imperial Custom to try to keep this thing going, so... just some variables, some things you guys could be able to, take advantage of. So, my final thoughts on this is a list as I think it's hilariously funny. RIP to the King of Birds, because poor Samorg, I don't know how we're ever going to have you back unless they hit Tri-Brigade Heavy. With that said, I think of the rest of the list is probably just Smoke and Mirror for a lot of the stuff that it already is. And do I think most decks that are currently meta are going to survive the next format? We'll wait and see. So, with that said, I'm going to wrap up the video here. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel as it helps out tremendously. And you guys stay tuned for more content from this guy. If you guys want to watch me live, definitely hit the link in the description box below for my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/HarpiePlayerJoe, where you will see me on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays doing some live streams. So, with that all said, thanks everybody, and I will catch you all next time. HPJ signing out. Take care.